Root causes of performance issues. It's important to keep in mind that there are two sides to every story. In many cases, a problem crew member won't see that there is a problem. As a supervisor, you have to be able to see things from the crew member's point of view, even if the issue is obvious to you. Generally speaking, there are 12 reasons why employees don't meet performance standards. 1. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. It's hard to get the job right when you're not sure what the job is. Make sure your crew members understand their responsibilities and know what's expected of them. Be precise in your instructions so they know exactly what they're supposed to do. 2. They fear negative consequences for doing their job. Yes, this can be a reality. You might be thrilled with an eager, ambitious employee. However, some of the other crew members might resent their coworker for the same reason and might even pressure him or her to do less. In this case, you need to look at your crew as a whole and try to understand the dynamic. Is the problem employee really the problem? 3. They don't understand the importance of doing the job properly. This can be a challenging issue. Sometimes a given task can seem irrelevant or a waste of time if your crew member doesn't understand how it fits into the bigger picture. Going a step beyond that, they might not see how their work fits into the company's entire philosophy. Sometimes a connection between the current task and complete project can be fuzzy. Does your employee understand why his or her task matters? 4. They don't want to do it your way. Right or wrong, sometimes employees will feel like they know how to do things better than you do. This, of course, can be a recipe for accidents, illness, poor work, and bad results. It's important to listen to your crew members' ideas. At the same time, it's important that they understand why things need to be done a certain way. 5. Work well done isn't being rewarded. Everyone likes to be praised and to feel like they're doing well. Praise and recognition can be great motivators, but the opposite is true as well. Lack of praise and recognition can be a motivation killer. That doesn't mean you have to throw a party every time a crew member does something right. A simple acknowledgement delivered at the right time can go a long way towards making an employee feel valued and successful. Also, it's important to praise people equally. Crew members can become resentful if they feel someone else is getting more praise than they deserve at the rest of the crew's expense. 6. There aren't any negative consequences for non-performance. If a crew member is allowed to get away with subpar work or poor work habits, there's no incentive to do better. This can be a real problem, especially if other crew members begin to see that there are no real consequences for not doing their best. 7. They have the wrong priorities or priorities keep changing. Do schedules keep changing? Do assignments keep changing? Are people going in a bunch of different directions at once? It can be frustrating for crew members when things are inconsistent and don't make sense. Make sure they know what's going on and why, and remember to prioritize each task so your crew members know what to do next. 8. They have personal limitations that keep them from reaching an acceptable performance level. Maybe your crew member doesn't have enough training to work effectively. Maybe there is a physical or emotional issue that limits performance. Maybe the job is simply overwhelming or hasn't been broken down into reasonable chunks or tasks. If your employee is underperforming, find out whether these limits are part of the problem. 9. They are frustrated by poor management. Yes, you could be part of the problem. Are you playing favorites even without knowing it? Are you assigning tasks reasonably and setting appropriate expectations? Are you giving the kind of feedback that crew members need in order to do their work with confidence? 10. They need more training. This is self-explanatory, but sometimes crew members are thrown into the deep end without enough training to do the job well. The good news is that this problem can be resolved with a bit of extra attention and training. 11. They don't get enough feedback or there isn't enough accountability. Sometimes crew members don't know they aren't doing well. Are you giving them the feedback they need to understand priorities and meet targets? Nobody likes to work in a vacuum. One of the keys to keep jobs organized is with specific milestones and objectives. When your crew members understand what's expected of them, they'll have a much easier time meeting those expectations. 12. They simply aren't a good fit with the crew or organization. Sometimes personalities don't mesh. Your difficult crew member may have been hired based on experience or a set of skills, but may have an approach that doesn't work for your corporate culture. That too can be resolved, but it takes patience and understanding from both sides.